Hello, War Room Nation. Welcome to MMA in the War Room. That's right. It's our pilot show where we're going to actually talk about some MMA this evening. So feel free to comment, subscribe, let us know how you feel about us talking about MMA. And I have a special guest with me this evening. He is actually the MMA expert of the War Room. So what we're going to do for this pilot episode is break down the upcoming free card on Fox. And I welcome Tommy. Tommy, welcome to MMA in the War Room. This is our first show. You know, what's going on?
Not much, Jimmy. Expert's a dangerous word, but I definitely appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. What do you think about the card overall coming up? Are you excited for it or what?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely excited for this card. For a free card, it's not bad. I've seen a few of these guys fight live and in person, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, and that's the key. This is actually a free card on Fox, and you know, it's a lot of quality fights. A lot of times people say when they see free cards put out there, they're not as good as the pay-per-view, but this one can stack up with some of the pay-per-views that we've seen.
Oh, there's no doubt. I beg to differ. I think that that's an effort that the UFC is making to attract those viewers. When they see Donald Cerrone and Anthony Pettis, which I think is going to be fight of the night, when they see those two throw down, when they see Rampage, big names like that, they're going to want to get that next pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I think that's their angle, and that's what they're trying to do.
And I agree with you that UFC is doing an excellent job with that. Because I remember like with boxing, for instance, back in the day with boxing, on the free cards, you would get some of the worst fights. You know what I mean? And I never understood that. From a business standpoint, it makes sense to give some good fights. So when you do have the pay-per-view, people be willing to pay. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely. But let's jump right into the main fights in the card, and let's get your opinion and see which way you see these fights going. The first fight being one Eric Koch and Ricardo Lamas is fighting on the main card. What's your opinion of the fight in terms of who has the advantage on the ground?
On the ground, I would give it to Lamas just by probably a little bit in terms of the ground game. He's a large featherweight, and he's got good positioning, that type of thing. Cope, he's a stand-up specialist. He trains with Duke Rufus, who is Anthony Pettis' coach, who we'll discuss in a few here. And he's actually a world-renowned Muay Thai trainer. He's known as one of the best Muay Thai trainers outside of Thailand.
Okay, so with that being said, would you give the stand-up advantage to Coke?
I would, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got Lamas with the advantage on the ground and Coke with the advantage standing up. So
I do.
What is your opinion of the fight overall? How do you see it going?
I think Coke takes it. I think maybe a first or a second round TKO. He's able to implement his game plan and do what he needs to do from a stand-up perspective to take out Lamas.
Okay. Cool. Here's my opinion of the fight. I agree with everything you said in terms of the advantages on the ground and standing up. But actually, I have Lamas winning this in a decision. I think that he'll get the fight to the ground and survive. He's definitely dangerous in Muay Thai. That's Coke. But I think Lamas will get it to the ground, and I think the fight may not be as exciting as some of the other fights, but I have Lamas in the decision. We'll see how it goes, but I have Lamas winning the decision.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, if he does take the fight, it's going to be a grind him out,
and that's what I see.
Victory, and that could certainly be the case. But Coke's he's coming off of a long layoff, so he's going to be hungry. He had an injury. I think it was an MCL injury, torn MCL. So he's been training. He's been hungry. He's been ready. He was at one point in line for a title shot against Jose Aldo. And, you know, the injury went down and things like that. So he's coming out hungry. And he's an aggressive fighter by nature anyway. So I'm looking for him definitely to execute his game plan standing up.
And the thing about that is, a lot of times you see fighters come off these long layoffs, it can work to their advantage in terms of them being hungry, but also could work to their advantage of them being rusty and trying to get into the groove. And, you know, it may take a fight or two, but I think this will be an interesting fight. In my personal opinion, I mean, this is all speculation. I think that it may not be one of the most exciting fights of the evening, but it'll be a good fight. And I'm just going to take Lamas in the decision, but we'll see how it goes. So you have Coke winning by knockout. You said first or second round knockout.
Yeah, TKO.
TKO. Okay, TKO. Cool. Let's move on to the fight that I know I want to talk about. To me, I also agree with something you said. This will be the fight of the night. I'm excited to see it. And I have to be honest with our viewers out there before I even start. I have to let them know that Donald Cerrone is actually a friend of the War Room.
Nice.
Here's a photo of me, him, and my partner Dev.
Excellent.
We actually met him and talked. He's a friend of ours. So with that being said, I'm gonna be a little bit biased in my opinion, but I'm gonna talk to Tommy. Tommy, what is your opinion of this fight in terms of the ground game, the stand-up game? Who do you have with the advantage in each of those aspects?
Okay, stand-up wise, again, Anthony Pettis being the Duke Rufus protege, I give him the edge, not by a large margin. Cerrone has shown some definitely improved stand-up. I think he knocked out Melvin Gillard in his last fight. in a pretty nasty fashion. So he's definitely been stepping up his game, but he's not known as a striker the way Anthony Pettis was. I don't know if you remember the last fight in WEC history, but Anthony Pettis is the dude that pulled that matrix kick off the cage.
How could you forget that? Yeah.
He's known for his stand-up. He trains under Duke Rufus. He is if I'm not mistaken, in addition to his Muay Thai training, a black belt in Taekwondo. He's been doing it for a long time.
Absolutely. So you give Pettis the advantage in terms of the stand-up. Now on the ground, were you going for the ground?
I give Cerrone the edge on the ground.
Okay.
He's got 13 victories, and 68% of those victories are by submission.
Okay, so we agree on that. We agree on both aspects in terms of the advantage standing and on the ground. Now, in terms of the fight overall, who do you see winning the fight? And how?
Well, I wouldn't want to put any money on this one. I'll tell you that. But I do think Cerrone takes it. I do think he gets either a hard-fought decision or maybe a second or third-round submission victory.
Okay. I noticed one thing about this fight, like watching a lot of the pre-fight thing. I think Cerrone has definitely angered like Pettis with his trash talk, and that's like the catalyst for setting the fight to begin with. But again, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, he's a friend, so being biased, I have the Cowboy winning this fight. I definitely do. He's also been the more active fighter. That's something else to point out. He's been the more active fighter. So but Pettis is a dangerous opponent. This is going to be a great fight. To me, this is worth the entire. I think this will definitely be the fight of the night, and I'm very excited for this fight. Too.
It could be submission of the night too if Cerrone pulls off his submission win. And you mentioned the activity level. I mean, he's been more active since they've been in the UFC, but his caliber of opponent has also been much higher as well.
Absolutely. That's something that you definitely great point you just made there. So I definitely have him winning this fight. Got to root for the Cowboy, but it is what it is. Moving on, though.
Good.
A former lightweight champion and megastar Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Glover Teixeira. And Quentin is saying that he wants to, retire. But then when I hear him say it doesn't sound like he has any conviction in saying he wants to retire.
Right.
Who knows what's going to happen. But what's your overall thought on this fight? Stand up ground. What's your opinion on this fight?
This one, I think, is going to be all Teixeira, no question about it. I hate to say that because I'm a Rampage fan. A lot of people are Rampage fans. I've been a Rampage fan since the Pride days, before UFC. Fights like his knockout slam over Ricardo Arona back in Pride.
Classic.
Unbelievable. So this is classic Rampage, but Rampage is not the same fighter that he used to be.
Yeah, I mean, Rampage is Mr. T now. So,
That's right.
But in terms of ground stand-up, who would you give the advantage to?
I give Teixeira the clear edge in both ground and the stand-up. Like I said, Rampage lately, I don't know if his heart's in it anymore. I think his conditioning has been questionable in his last couple of fights. Mm-hmm. If it weren't for the paycheck, I don't know that he'd be doing it. I don't know. I don't want to judge the guy. I certainly am not close enough to sources to make any judgments on Rampage or where he's at mentally these days. That's always been one of the weaknesses in his game anyway, is that mental aspect. He's obviously incredibly gifted physically. He's got incredible strength, incredible power, but his conditioning and his mental, I'll say, his willingness to prepare and do some of the things outside of the cage or the ring are what make or break Rampage. So
So how do you see it ending though? How do you see it ending?
I take Teixeira by probably TKO, maybe a third round TKO.
Okay. And I think my opinion is I kind of think along the same lines. I mean, bottom line is Rampage isn't the same Rampage that we grew to love. I mean, to me, he's one of the most entertaining characters in MMA history. I just find him funny. He's hilarious to me. But in terms of what he's been doing in the cage, he's not the same Rampage that he was in Pride, or even when he first came to the UFC. He's not the same. I think Glover. I think Glover will get the victory. Only thing is, I don't know if I think Glover will knock him out. Rampage does have a strong chin, but at the end of the day, if you're getting beat for consecutive rounds, there's only so much anybody can take. So I'll say Glover wins it, but I'll give it to him by decision because I think Rampage does have he has a chin. So I will give it to him based upon that. It's sad to see Rampage now because I try to remember the good Rampage. He was slamming everybody. I mean the guy's wrestling was out of this world.
Right.
But I definitely think that he'll lose this fight. That's my opinion. So we agree on that. And, of course, the championship fight, which is funny because this is a fight for a belt, but I'm, more excited to see the Pettis Cowboy fight. But nonetheless, this is a championship fight. We have John Dodson, who was the winner of Tough 14, and Demetrius Johnson the UFC flyweight champion. What is your opinion of the fight overall? Give me your, stand-up ground. What do you see? What do you see this fight?
Sure. Well, this one could be, like I said, Cerrone and Pettis to me is probably fight of the night. But if it's not, this one could very well be the fight of the night as well. This one's going to be exciting.
I think it's a lot of speed. A lot of speed.
A lot of speed.
When I think of these guys, I think of speed. That's the first thing that comes to mind to me is their speed. And just briefly for me, I have Dodson. In terms of striking, I would say Dodson, but Johnson has like tremendous takedowns. When I watch him fight, he has tremendous takedowns. So, I'm still up in the air. But I think in terms of striking, I have Dodson. What would you say in terms of stand-up?
In terms of the stand-up, I actually give the edge to Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson. Not by much, but just a little bit. I think that he's faster. I think he's faster than Dodson is. I think he's going to be able to utilize angles and movement to get in and to inflict damage. Maybe not huge knockout blows, but to get in and score points on the feet and move out. Whereas Dodson, he can surprise you, though. Anything can happen in this fight because Dodson has got, not only is he's an explosive athlete, but he's got actually a gymnastics background. He lettered. He was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and he also did a lot of gymnastics training since he was younger. So if you watch some of his older fights, for example, I saw him fight Mike Easton in the UWC here in DC live, and he does some incredible things. He was known for once in a high school wrestling match avoiding a double leg takedown by doing a front flip over the guy.
Oh God!
So he's
a tremendous athlete, basically.
He's an incredible athlete, and he's like I said, that gymnastics background makes him a wild card. He can do some crazy things at crazy times. When you see him win a fight, he'll run up the cage, do the backflip, that type of thing. You see Anthony Pettis doing the Matrix kick off the cage. Well, Dodson's certainly capable of doing some of that stuff as well. I don't know, in a fight of this caliber and on this stage, I don't know if he's going to be doing any front flips over any double legs, but he's done it before, and if you YouTube it, you can see it. It's crazy to watch. It's crazy to watch.
Now, in terms of the ground game, who would you get the advantage to in the ground game?
I might give him Dodson a slight edge on the ground.
Okay.
I think for Demetrius, for Mighty Mouse, I think what he wants to do is keep it standing. In some of his other fights, Benavidez and some of these other guys, what he's been able to do is keep it on the feet and score points with movement, agility, and angles and things like that, and rack up, damage as a whole over the course of the fight. Probably take a decision victory.
Okay, yeah, cool. I definitely think this the striking is going to be tremendous in this fight. But like I said, when I first saw this, the first thing that came to my mind was speed. These guys are, not only in terms of just being fast, but the energy that both of these guys bring to the cage is tremendous. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to in this fight. So who do you have winning and how?
Like I said, I think Mighty Mouse will take a decision victory. It's going to be too close to call. This is another one I certainly wouldn't want to have my money on. I think it does go to a decision. I think Mighty Mouse takes a decision, very, very close, razor-close decision. But like you said, these flyweights at 125 pounds, they are fast.
Yeah.
They're very, very fast, and they keep up a frenetic pace.
Absolutely.
They can fight at a frenetic pace, and they can keep it going the entire time. It's very, very exciting. So
I'm actually looking at that's the same thing. I have Johnson in the decision. So, it's funny because I'm looking back at all the different picks. I really don't have any knockouts. I hope it doesn't go that way. I want to see some knockouts. But
always.
With that being said, I definitely have Johnson in the decision. I mean, like you said, overall, this is an excellent card. I'm definitely looking forward to it, which is why we wanted to start our show out by breaking down this card and giving our opinion on these fights. With that being said, leave a comment and let us know your opinion on what we're doing here with the MMA show inside MMA in the War Room, that is. Also, you can visit us all over the web, warroomsports.com. You can go to facebook.com/warroomsports. We argue sports all day long, and pretty much we're everywhere over the internet. Just Google War Room Sports. You'll see us everywhere, from Pinterest, Instagram, to Twitter, and all that. If you want to get in touch with me or Tommy, I'll put both of our Twitters inside the description of this video. Tommy, last words on this card. What do you see being the big winner of this card? Like, who comes out as a title contender, and who has the most on the line in terms of this card overall?
I think Cerrone has the most on the line. I think he's due. Now, the 125ers, obviously, I think they finally get their due, and I think they finally get a little bit more mainstream exposure. So it's huge for Demetrius and Dodson as well in terms of that being a title fight. But I think the implications at 155 pounds, Cerrone versus Pettis, I think is the most significant fight in terms of future title implications. And I think Cerrone takes it. I think Cerrone takes like I said, I think he takes it. It's going to be close, but I think he takes it.
Now, does he get a title shot like upon the win, like based upon how he wins? If he does win, does he get a title shot right away?
You know what? I think actually that they will. I think they will put him up for a title shot if he can take out Pettis.
Cool. So he has a lot riding on it. Come on, Cowboy. Like, you got to do what you got to do. Again, this is our first episode, MMA in the War Room. I want to thank Tommy for joining us. I mean, this guy knows his stuff. And again, I'll put his contact info in the description as well. WarRoomSports.com. Let us know what you think about our newest addition to all of our shows. And until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We will talk to you next time. Thanks, Tommy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Kuwait, it's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.